This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. Vape show.
Drop RDA from the Vapor Chronicles and DigiFlavor came in. It's pretty good, pretty good. The drop gets its name from what I can tell of, basically how easy it is to drop your coils in there. The way the deck is designed is very similar to the Dead Rabbit. Memory serves, I remember Billy or Brian or someone talking about how they both kind of thought up the idea independently of building an RDA in such a way that was kind of like a post-style system, but you could cut your leads after installation. So post-installation, cut off your leads. I feel that the way that the Drop RDA accomplishes this is just a little bit more elegant than how we saw it in the Dead Rabbit, where the Dead Rabbit was sort of cut at these L sorts of shapes. But I really like the way that the Drop does it. And the way that the post is drilled, it's drilled at sort of an angle, so the leads just come through and just kind of dangle there perfectly. The main difference here is in the way that the posts are designed, whereas the Dead Rabbit had sort of like a rabbit ears kind of shape to them, sort of like an inverted L. The Drop RDA has sort of a swoop sort of cutaway to these posts, 4 posts, and they're cut in such a way and drilled in such a way at an angle so that the lead will go down into this sort of swoop sort of structure, and then the screws will come in from the side, flathead screws anchoring those leads into place. The approach is far less drastic and more aesthetically sound than the way it was accomplished in the Dead Rabbit, if you ask me. It's just much more clean this way, more elegant. I mean, installation on this thing really is a breeze. It's super, super easy to install your coils in here. You've got them situated, clipping them off, just like with the Dead Rabbit. And my bad with the Dead Rabbit, I didn't realize, but I realized it with a Drop. You got to angle your clippers upside down, basically, so that the flat side of the clippers, Mills, I'm out of breath here. You got to angle your clippers in such a way so the flat side of the clippers is coming in right underneath where you want to cut, rather than the other way around. It just cuts more cleanly that way. It works very well. Traveling today with only one dog, and he is just killing it. I've been wanting to get to the Orange Trail for the longest time, and I knew to do it, I'd have to go solo with just Mill. And Mills, put it this way, one of his many nicknames is Baby Rhino. He is pretty much a badass. If anyone could get here, it was him. The Drop RDA has a clear sort of drip tip here. I don't know if it's Ultim, I don't know if it's Delrin, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's clear. Sort of an unusual sort of color for a drip tip these days. They're all either black Delrin or orange the Ultim. I'm not sure what the rationale for it is, but it's certainly different. It's a 2-piece top cap. Inner airflow sleeve has sort of a step sort of structure to it, so it's going to close down and open up little by little in sort of sections is how this device is going to work. And that plays off against the outer barrel, which has a total of 10 airflow holes. It's a 6 airflow holes, 2 and 2 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. You turn the airflow control to open up the bottom 2, then the next 2, then the next 2, so you've got 6 open, and then you can turn it a little bit more and open up those 4 along the top. The first 4 sets of airflow holes function primarily as sort of like an under airflow sort of system, and then the next 2 sort of hit the coil a little bit and a little bit underneath, and then the tier up top with the 4 airflow holes hit the coil head on. I like it with all the airflow holes open. I like it with no less than 4 air holes open. Once 4 air holes are open, it's pretty good. 6 is a little better, and sometimes I like opening up that top row a bit, but sometimes I don't. It depends. But in comparing it and contrasting it with the Dead Rabbit, the primary difference here is with the Dead Rabbit, once the coils were seated, you sort of brought those coils out and pushed them away from the center of the RDA toward the airflow holes. With the Drop RDA, it seems counterintuitive at first to push the coils toward the center of the RDA and away from the air hole holes, it kind of sat a little weird with me at first, honestly. But it works, and the reason it works is because those first 4 air holes, they're going to come in through the posts on either side. This wide gap between the posts, which is a very, very large build area, by the way. Air is going to come in through the posts and come in underneath the coils, which it works. I still think that it's a little bit counterintuitive pushing everything away from the airflow holes, but I'm willing to look past it. So whereas the Dead Rabbit, air came in through the air holes and hit the coils head on, with the Drop RDA, it's sort of a redirected kind of airflow. They're coming in between the posts and coming back in underneath the coils and back up. Interesting approach, really. And you do have the 4 airflow holes across the top, which will hit the coil head on, but you have to open up all the other airflow holes to get to that. Does mean one thing in particular. There is one thing that you absolutely must do when you build this RDA if you intend to use it in this fashion, with air coming in and from the side and then hitting the coils from underneath. You have to remember to clear that airway between the posts. You got to make sure that there's no cotton in there blocking the air, or else, air is not going to be able to travel there. So I really like the way that the coils sit side by side in sort of a shotgun style. And it works here because the airflow is coming in from between the posts and coming in underneath both those coils together. That's the intention. And it works, but could there have been something that worked better is the question I'm left asking. Is this the best way to accomplish this sort of airflow system where air is supposed to come at the coils from underneath and up through the drip tip? I've seen other RDAs that have done this a bit better, and I can't help but wonder if this was the best way to accomplish that sort of airflow system with air coming in from the sides versus from the bottom. I mean, airflow comes in underneath through those first 4 air holes, and then you open up the next 2 air holes, and it's kind of hitting the coil just a little bit, and then the top one just kind of sweeps across the coil really well. All that being said, it works. I like it well enough, but I can't help but think that the coils, the way that they're designed, they're just in the perfect position for airflow to be coming up from underneath them and just really hitting them head on. And that's kind of what this airflow accomplishes in a way, since it's kind of sweeping in underneath the coils and coming back up. Kind of, but remember the Tokugawa? I can't help but think that the way the coils land, shotgun style, right in the center of the deck, I can't help but think that airflow like the Tokugawa, like a tube underneath coming up and hitting that pair of coils from underneath, wouldn't really serve this RDA well. That's the only question that I have. Maybe it would have been served better with like a tube underneath with air coming up from underneath the coils, rather than airflow coming in on the sides and then coming at the coils from underneath, redirected. I just think it would just work just a little bit better. That's just me. I just look at this RDA and I see where there was some ideas that could have worked a little bit better. Not to mention the aesthetics. The aesthetics really it's just a little plain for me, The one word drop at the top, the black and the stainless together. I just think that it is what it is, It's aesthetics. Who really cares? Whatever. Overall, not a bad RDA. Some things that I think could have been done a little bit differently to maximize, how good of a vape it could possibly be. I mean, that bottom airflow tunnel, I feel like would have really made for something special, to be honest with you. But otherwise, not a bad effort. Anyway, I appreciate all the things you guys do, the likes, the comments, the shares, all that good stuff. One more way you can support the channel. I have a list of affiliate links in the description on every video. Clicking those links and making a purchase at places you already shop helps me, helps the channel, and I appreciate it. Until next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, vapors.